Hey, Motorman here, and today we're going to talk about the Indian Challenger versus the Harley Ultra, or any of the Harley Road Kings or touring models, because they're all the same as far as wheelbase, rake, and how far the handlebars turn from lock to lock. The Indian Challenger is challenged in that respect because the handlebars don't turn very far. It's got a longer wheelbase, a longer rake, so they're not near as maneuverable. Now, I've got a rider that's been to the class before on his Road King. He also owns the Indian Challenger, and we're going to show you the differences in the ease of maneuverability, the Harley versus the Challenger. May not mean anything to you if you're not worried about maneuverability. If you're a highly skilled rider, you might not even think about that, but I could just tell you, one is going to be considerably easier to handle at low speeds than the other. So take a look. All right, here's Jim on his Indian Challenger Pursuit. And he's taken the more difficult way through the offset cone weave. He's using that small orange cone and the big orange cone on one side and the green tip cone on the other. The bike makes it fairly easily, but if we were to tighten up a little bit more, well, I'm afraid it wouldn't make it. And that's simply because of the longer wheelbase, rake, and a little bit less lean angle. Now here's Jim on his Road King, and we've even narrowed the exercise down by another 10 feet, and he still makes it easily. The Challenger simply will not do this because of its wheelbase, rake, trail, and lean angle. And I know what you're going to say, what you're comparing the Challenger Pursuit to a Road King. That's not fair. Well, here's a skilled rider also on an Ultra with the course narrowed down 10 feet, and he still makes it. It's just physics, folks. It's nothing bad. It's just physics. And here's Jim once again on his Indian Challenger Pursuit. He's doing some circles inside the 24-foot leg of the intersection. And as you can see, the bike makes it. It makes it but just barely, almost at full lock in order to make those 24-foot circles. So it's going to take you more practice on an Indian Challenger than it would on a Harley Davidson. But there's nothing wrong with a little more practice. It helps everybody. Now here's Jim back on his Road King, but here we have the course narrowed down to 18 foot wide by 20 feet long, each of the legs. There's no way that the Challenger can make this. We tested the turning radius of the Challenger, and it's right about 19.5 to 20 feet. So 19.5, 20 feet is about the best you're going to do, and that's with the bike right on the floorboards. Now we're going to show you somebody going through on an Ultra. Because the Ultra and the Road King had the same wheelbase, turning radius, rake, lean angle, it really doesn't matter. They handle exactly the same, and it easily makes the 18-foot turns. Of course, it takes practice. It doesn't matter what bike you've got. If to make 18-foot turns is kind of difficult, so it takes practice. Got to know the techniques, head and eyes, friction zone, a little pressure on the rear brake. But if you want the most maneuverable heavyweight motorcycle, well, the Harley Davidson would be the one. Now here's Jim on his Challenger, and he's going through the Snowman here. That's a 30-foot circle to the left, 26-foot circle to the right, and the last one is 24-foot circle to the left. He almost makes it, but makes just a little mistake and winds up hitting the cone. Now here's Jim back on his Road King, and we also have a rider with an Ultra going through the Snowman at the same time. No doubt that the Harleys are more maneuverable. The Indians do have an advantage as far as ride comfort, I believe, and of course I think they come with the electric windshield. So it just depends on what you like. There's nothing bad about the Indian, it's just not as maneuverable. Now, last week I did a comparison of the retro motorcycles and picked the Triumph Bobber as my favorite. As you can see here, a lot of people were asking, by the way, if it's maneuverable motorcycle, and it certainly is. In fact, this bike will probably turn in 16 feet. The shorter the rake, the shorter the wheelbase, and the lighter the motorcycle, the easier it's going to be to maneuver at low speeds. It's got a pretty decent lean angle as well. So tell me what you think of the comparison between the Harley Davidson touring bikes and the Challenger. Comment below. If it means anything to you, you don't care about maneuverability, I understand. Just know that that's the way it is. So please subscribe and comment below. Give me your opinion.